everyone, today we'll be solving the question maximum good subarray sum. So in this question you'll be given nums of length n and there will be a positive integer k and you have to find the maximum sum of a subarray and how a subarray would be good if the first element and the last element difference is exactly equals to k, then the subarray would be good and we have to find the maximum sum of a good subarray. If there are no good subarrays then we have to return a 0. So let me show the intuition. In the question, you will be given with n and a nums array that will be containing n integer and a positive integer k. And you need to find a good subarrays, like the maximum sum of all those good subarrays. Maximum sum of good subarray. And how a subarray would be good? If nums of j, let's say I is the starting point and j is the ending point you are standing at. So nums of j minus nums of I should be equals to k, and that is the absolute difference. As it is absolute difference, so we can say either nums of j minus I would be equals to k, or nums of I minus nums of j would be equals to k. Either of them could be. So from this equation we can say, if I'm standing at jth index, how would I find nums of I? It would be nums of I would be equals to nums of j plus k, and from the second one I could say nums of I is equals to nums of j minus k, j plus k. From the nums of I would be nums of j plus k, and from the first equation I could say nums of I would be equals to nums of j minus k. Over here it would be minus. So either of them could be nums of I. Now, how could I find nums of I? Let's say I'm standing at j and I want to find nums of I. So using this two equation I could find nums of j. But how could I find the sum between that I and j? Let's say I'm storing the prefix sum. I'm standing at j and I have the prefix sum. What the prefix sum is? The sum of all the numbers from 0 to j. This is the prefix sum. So at j I'm having that prefix sum. Now let's say I'm storing that nums of I in a map, and nums of I is the key. So using that key I can find that prefix sum and the value would be prefix sum. So as I'm having the prefix sum over jth index and I am having the prefix sum over the ith index, so using this two difference I could find the sum for sure. Yes, but if there are duplicate nums of I, let's say I'm having duplicate nums of I, then which value I should take from this thing? I could say that I'm removing this part, like I'm discarding this part. So MP of nums of I, whatever value it is, it will get discarded. Let's say it's the x value. So I'll store the minimum value to be discarded as I want the maximum sum. So let's say over here there is nums of I 2. Even over here I'm having 2, but over here the prefix sum is minus 2 and over here the prefix sum is 0. Then which part should I discard? If I discard this part, then minus 2 could result in our answer. That thing we don't want. So I would be thinking of removing this minus 2. So remove the minimum part so that I could get the maximum sum. If I take an example, let's over here I'm having 5, over here minus 4, then over here the sum is, if it is a prefix sum, that is 5, then over here it would be 1. Again, let's say over here it's 0, then it would be 1, minus 1, then it would be 0, If I remove this part or this part, it would be same. But what if, let's say, there is minus 2? So there would be minus 1. And let's say over here, there is minus 4. So the prefix sum over here would be minus 5. And let's say I'm standing over here, that is, this is the nums. And I'm standing at this index. This is j. So which part should I remove? Should I remove, let's say nums of I is, for that j is minus 4. So which part should I remove? Should I remove this or this? If I'm removing this one, then let's say total sum over here is x. So the resultant would be x minus 1. The 5 would be over here. And then over here it would be 4. Then minus 1. Actually I have written that wrong. So minus 1 is over here and minus 5 is over here. Actually it is a prefix sum excluding that number. So if minus nums of I is minus 4, then should I remove that x minus 1? Like x minus minus 1 or x minus 5? What should I do? Should I remove the minimum part or the maximum one? I should remove the minimum one to get a maximum answer because our x is fixed. So we should remove the minimum one to get a maximum answer. So that's it. Let me show the code and it will be more clear.
What I've done in this code is first I've taken a map that will be storing key as the element of the nums and the value would be the prefix sum. Now I have taken answer as some negative value to get a maximum answer. Now I have taken a count to check is there any good array in our array or not. Now the total is to store the prefix sum and n is the num size. Now I'm checking that if nums of I is already in my map, then I have to, it's not in my map, then I'll be assigning that prefix sum with key as nums of I. That total is a prefix sum for nums of I this. If nums of I is already in the map, then I have to take the minimum value, like the current prefix sum or the previous value that is already in the map, because I want to discard this value. Now, now z is the nums of I minus k that I have told in the intuition, like if there is, we have to find nums of I minus nums of j equals to k. So the two equation that we found before, one of is nums of I minus k and other one is nums of I plus k. So if that element is not present in the map, then we don't have to do anything. But if it is present, then I'll be maximizing my answer as total plus nums of I minus the prefix sum of that particular element. Why I'm including that nums of I? The total is a prefix sum for nums of I. Now I have to include that nums of I and I have to discard this value. Like let's say 2, 3, 4, 5 is an array. I'm standing at 5. It is storing the prefix sum of 2, 3, 4. Now I want to discard the prefix sum of 3. So I'll be discarding 2. But 5 is storing the prefix sum of 2, 3, 4. So for 3, I'll be removing that 2. Now I have the total sum as 3, 4. So I'm adding nums of I to get a total prefix sum like 3, 4, 5. If I want to include from 3 to 5. So that's it. I have taken again the maximum if that nums of I plus k is present, and I have assigned the count as 1 that if I have a good subarray. Now again I'm incrementing that total, that is prefix sum. Now if count is 0, it means I don't have any good subarray in this nums. That's why I'm returning 0. If the count is 1, it means I'm having some good subarray. That's why I'm returning the answer. So that's it. I hope you like it. Thank you for watching.